Well, I'm absolutely delighted that we've now got our regular visit with the Barrow AFC community manager, Craig Rutherford. How are you doing, Craig?
Hi, Tony. I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, fine, mate. Now, it's about a month since we had a chat, and at that time, I think it was the day before that Barrow announced the new manager. Now, you were playing dumb with me on that day, which is
I honestly didn't know he was getting it. I didn't know.
Which
honestly,
is understandable. And then I came off air and I thought, I think it was about 2 or 3 hours later, they announced who the manager was going to be.
I honestly did not know who was getting it. They kept it very, very close to the chest.
Ah, right, okay. So anyway, since then, Craig, Michael Jolley has become the manager of Barrow AFC, and he's not messing around, is he? I think he's signed on about 10 new players. So
yeah, it's been a big overhaul, hasn't it? I turned up for the pre-match video for the Grimsby game that unfortunately got called off, and when I walked into the room, it was a bit like, oh, I feel like a new boy at school. I don't know anyone. But all jokes aside, no, he's obviously trying to put his stamp on the team, and time will tell, and hopefully they'll gel very quickly because they need to.
So I suppose in a way, from somebody like me looking on the outside, looking in, Craig, that sort of suggests to me that those players that were originally signed on by David Dunn, Michael Jolley's come in and sort of thought, not quite sure whether they're up to it. I mean, to bring in 10 players is a massive statement, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. But like I said, I don't know what goes on in Michael's head. He obviously wanted to put his own stamp on the team. He had to register his 22 players yesterday, so I've not seen which 22 is registered.
Oh, right, okay.
So once that comes out, or if it comes out, it'll be interesting to see kind of who's involved and who's not. But I suppose any manager wants to put their own stamp on a team, and the board have backed him to do that. So hopefully the players he's brought in will gel, and we can start moving up the table.
Yeah, there seems to be some class acts that have been brought in there, Craig. I mean, I don't know if you know a lot about these individuals, but they seem to have a good pedigree.
Yeah, there's a good mix of experience and young players. So I've seen them in training once now. Obviously seen them away at Bradford, and there was really positive signs at Bradford. 2 obviously naive bits of defending early in both halves as a team, really, that we need to learn from quickly. But I still think we created some decent openings and played some good football at times. It's just a case of, again, that word I always use, being consistent with what we're doing, because we can't be giving early goals away in each half for the rest of the season. So, as I said, yeah, they just need time to gel now and bed in at training, and games are going to come thick and fast this month. I think now we've playing Saturday, Tuesday. So, that gives them the opportunity to play and get used to each other.
Yeah, because this week, of course, I think you're playing Cambridge United at Orchard Street, who are currently up there at the top of the league, I think, aren't they?
Now, yeah. But then looking back at the away game we played. I know we got the late draw, but anyone who watched that game, we were by far the better team. And we've not always been the better team, don't get me wrong, but every game we've lost by 1 goal and fine margin. So it's a case of, I've said it before, we've got to stop that happening and be on the right side of the fine margins.
Yeah. So has your role changed in any way, Craig? I mean, there's a new management regime at the top. Are you still involved on match days and stuff?
Yeah, basically been doing the same that I've done all season and last season. And we chatted briefly before we started, and I've not had a lot of time with Michael yet, to be honest. He came in obviously halfway through the transfer window, so he's been very, very busy trying to sort out bringing the players in, and that's died down now. So hopefully I'll get a little bit of time to chat with him, share some ideas and find out what his philosophies and approaches are, and just use it to kind of help my journey and stuff like that again.
Oh, well, that's good. I mean, he's not going to bring in all these mates and everything, is he? He's keeping what's...
No, the staff have all stayed on. And it's brilliant getting to keep the staff, because obviously Rob Kelly's very experienced. I've got to know the medical staff and the strength and conditioning staff really well as well, and they're a good bunch. So, yeah, I was really happy that they were kept on.
And I see that David Dunn very recently, Craig, he's got a new job as assistant manager at Fleetwood Town.
Yeah, really happy for him. I thought he was a very, very good coach. Not sure he got the time he probably needed, but I understand football, and the board had a really difficult decision to make. So hopefully that decision will be proved right for us in the long term. But I'm really happy that he's got back into the game and getting back on the training pitch coaching, because it was a real joy to watch him coach.
Yeah, well, even Ole Gunnar Solskjaer gets some stick, mate. Last week they got beat got beat by Sheffield United, and the other night they beat Southampton 9-0.
Yeah, it's a game of opinions, isn't it? Football, it's what makes it sort of kind of appealing to the fans, that they get to share their opinions on it. So we've always got to respect that and just try and do the jobs the best we can.
Yep. Right, so one of the reasons I did get back in touch with you, Craig, was that, as I mentioned to you, I did have an interview with the Barrow Ladies rugby league team the other week, and I was really blown away by the passion and enthusiasm from those interviews. And I was wondering, when I was talking to them, whether there was any sort of future plans or vision for a Barrow AFC ladies football team.
Yeah, I'll say, as long as I'm in charge of the community setup and involved in the performance centre, there'll be that opportunity. Our kind of approach now, obviously in the past we did have a girls' performance centre team, and for whatever reason it hasn't worked out.
How long ago was that, Craig?
Well, how long have I been in the community now? It's probably 3 years ago now. 2, 3 years.
Right, okay. So,
so what we've tried to do is, looking at the amount of local grassroots girls teams there isn't many at all. So the teams that there are either having to travel to play fixtures or enter kind of a non-local league, really. So what we tried to do before lockdown was with funding we received from the Wembley Foundation, we had some funding to work with local clubs to set up new girls' teams. So Crooklands Casuals took us up on that, and we worked closely with them over around 6 months, training once a week, working with the coach, kind of showing them how to put the sessions on, how to plan ahead. And they've got their girls' team now, which is brilliant. But unfortunately, no other teams came forward to get the support. So we got our thinking heads on again. And we'd agreed some funding with the FA to do another Wildcat Centre with Furness College, using Furness College facilities. So use the Wildcat Centre as a kind of starting point to provide opportunities for girls to come train and play. And then the aim for that is to show people that there's a great number of girls who want to play football locally, and then try and get the local clubs on board again to show them, look, this is the number of girls we've got coming to this session every week. They just want a team to play for. We'll support you with setting up a team. We'll help you look for funding, look for help for support, equipment and stuff like that. And we'll mentor new coaches and work with you. So the funding was all secured. We announced it with Furness College. And then obviously we've gone into the lockdown last year and not really come out.
No.
So we've had an opportunity to start it yet. But it's definitely in the plans to start once restrictions are lowered. So we'll sort of get out into schools to do assemblies, advertise when the sessions are going to be, start the sessions, obviously, work closely with the college, with their young sports leaders. And then once we've got a consistent group of girls coming to the sessions, we can then reach out to the Barrow District Junior League and get them involved and see if we can support in growing it. So
when you say the Wildcat Centre, Craig, what is the Wildcat Centre?
It's the FA's sort of name for just providing weekly sessions for girls. We call it FA Wildcat Centre. So we're going off that, but that's only over a certain amount of time. So we're looking at making it a little bit more sustainable beyond the time that the funding's for. And then looking to work with the local junior league to continue it, and working with the college and developing young leaders and try to get young people through the level ones. And so that it's so obviously, like, we've got a lot on from a community point of view. Over a longer period of time, we might not be able to attend every single session. So the more people we can train up and get involved, it means that the sessions can continue, and then the more we get the junior league involved and the more interest we get.
So these girls wouldn't be playing specifically for sort of Barrow AFC. These girls are going to be playing
No, not to begin with.
For Crooklands, Walney, Ascombe.
Walney, yeah, that's the hope. But we know it's really hard because anyone who takes over a local team are doing it voluntarily. So you're kind of asking someone to give up the time, which hopefully they will. But then our aim then is if we can sort of generate enough teams in the area, we can grow kind of the talent pool of girls.
Yes.
And then we can sort of look at, right, there is a good number of girls playing now. So that gives us the opportunity to then think, right, I think it is time to try again with having some Barrow teams. And we have to do it slowly, one team at a time, make sure we've got enough staff and coaches and people wanting to be involved, venues for them to train and play.
How old are these girls, Craig? Sorry.
I think we're going to try and start quite young. So we're going to look at kind of under nines as the first one.
Okay.
And then we have a bit of a conveyor belt then working through each season.
What, to adults?
But having said that, we probably need to look at a younger age group first and then kind of maybe like a 12 to 14 kind of age group, because that's when people do start to drop off from football.
Right.
So if we can have that sort of two-pronged approach going, we've got the younger age group that can then conveyor belt through, and then each year we bring another year group in, and then we start at the older one to get games there, here and now. So it'll all depend on working with the junior league and looking. Well, they're the experts on all this, so we just want to sort of support wherever we can, and we think.
Yeah, sorry. So why can't the club just generally say, look, we're thinking of having a Barrow AFC ladies football team. If there's anybody out there 16 or over who's interested in football and wants to go on the same pathway as Georgia Stanway or somebody, come down to the football ground one Saturday morning or whatever, if you're interested, and let's see.
I think, well, to be fair, Georgia didn't come through Barrow Performance Centre. So there's other ways to do it. I just think everything we've done with the boys has been through the boys play grassroots football, perform well at grassroots level, and then they get brought into the performance centre.
But isn't that going to take a long time, Craig? Or?
It will, yeah. But as we said, we tried it last time with loads of age groups with the girls, and it didn't work. Right. So we're going to look at it from a different point of view and try to make it sustainable rather than one quick hit, because we've got to keep girls in the game. Barrow team and then girls not staying in the game. So if we get it right at grassroots level, get it sustainable at grassroots level, then we can create a good enough talent pool to set it all up. Yeah,
because I was thinking you might be able to buy Georgia Stanway or something.
I might not be able to afford it to start with.
It
might not be the right way, it might be the wrong way, but that's just the way, kind of looking back at how it didn't work last time. I want to make sure we've got everything right and give the girls the opportunity rather than just jump in with both feet and hope for the best.
So you're talking here slowly catch a monkey strategy here, Craig. Yeah, you're talking years.
It's not just a quick fix. I don't really want to go into the problems we had because I don't think it's fair to.
No.
Both on parents and past people who were running it. So all I can do really is comment on, what I'd like to do while I'm in charge of the community section.
But this is going to take a while, isn't it? Years.
It'll take time. Yeah. It'll all depend on how many we get playing and if the people come and feel it's the right environment and stuff like that. So,
and if you could get to that point where you've got, let's say, a reasonable standard of a team, can you then join a league? I know we've got Man City, Man United in the cream of the Premier League, but
I mean, to be honest, we're struggling to get the boys' teams in leagues because they're not our players. We're not a fully fledged academy, so they still play for the grassroots teams. So the only team that was in a league really was the under-21s. If we want the boys to go into a league, they would have to become our players and we'd have to become a fully fledged academy. But to do that, the club need to invest, and the club at the moment are not in a position to invest in setting up an academy. So you get funding from the FA to set up an academy, but the club have got to match the funding you get from the FA. At the moment, the performance centre is self-sustainable, so it's the players coming in pay to be a part of it. They pay the subs, so it covers all the training fees and facility fees and equipment renewals. And then we rely on sponsors to keep us going. So
right. So this is the under-21 team, is it?
Yeah, this is the under-9s right through to under-21s with the Performance Centre boys. So we've got teams from 9s right the way through to 21s.
Oh, what, at Barrow AFC?
Yeah.
Oh, right. So
again, they're not our players. They still play for the grassroots clubs because we're classed as a development centre rather than a fully fledged academy. So to make that step, they would have to become our players. Each age group would have to play in the academy leagues, but the club would have to invest if that was to happen.
So that under-21 team, Craig, that was quite successful last year.
Yeah.
I think he was very successful, I think.
We won our league in the first season we were together. And then we turned into reserves the year after, and we were undefeated in that league, and that was a tougher challenge. But then the league just fell apart, really, with how it was run. So then this season, we signed up back into the county league, which is now merged with that reserve league, and it seems a lot better. But then obviously COVID's come along, and we only played one game this season. So,
but those lads who played for you, you saying they play for other clubs?
Yeah, they play for their grassroots clubs. Yeah, so we've got to be really careful that we don't use them. We don't play matches the day before.
Ah, right. So they're playing for Vickers and Olker and Dalton.
Yeah, and to be fair, the local clubs are brilliant with kind of lending us their players, really, because all we want to do is provide them with opportunities to play at the highest level they can. Provide them with extra coaching on top of the coaching they get into their clubs, so it gives them that platform to go on. You know, we've had lads go on and be signed on for fully fledged academies. Lads have gone on to play semi-professional football. We had some first team appearances over the last 2 years. So we do believe there is success there. But for it to go on to the next level, as I've said, it does need to become that fully fledged academy. But that's not my decision. So
No. Were you the manager of that reserve team?
I was the 21s manager, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So I've got the 21s, yeah. I've got the 21s, I've got the under 14s and the under 11s at the moment.
Wow.
Yeah.
What do you do on a Sunday?
Sunday's my family day. That's when I've got to be up.
Right, so that's interesting, Craig. So what you're really saying to me is that you can't just create a women's football team in 5 minutes. This is going to take a long, progressive, step-by-step with lots of people involved, getting it at local level, getting teams created, picking out the best talent, getting them in a Barrow AFC shirt, maybe linked to a I don't know, semi-professional league. That's going to take. We're talking years.
It'll take time, yeah, because you've got to have facilities to train and play, and we don't have them. Even the lads, you know, they train at Furness College with the sessions that we've got available there. So you're all grassroots teams train there as well. So you're always fighting for slots. We don't have a home pitch. We were loaning Holker Old Boys' whole pitch, so paying to use their home pitch.
Ah, right, I see.
So there's a lot of things to get round. I am working hard behind the scenes to look at how we can get our own facility, but that's obviously, again, money and land and stuff like that. So we're nowhere near that yet. But I just think if I do want there to be Barrow girls teams, but I want to do it properly. I want to make sure the right things are in place so it doesn't fall off like it did last time.
Yeah, because one of the things one of the girls said on the rugby league team was that in order for them to fulfil their ambition and get into Super League, they'd have to be affiliated, linked to a professional club, i.e. Barrow Raiders. So even though they're under the umbrella of Barrow Island at the moment, if they wanted to get serious, they'd have to become part of the professional rugby team, you see. So is that similar in football? And in order for Barrow Ladies, they'd have to play for Barrow AFC in order to get in the professional league. Is that?
In order to get into the WSL and things like that, and the leagues below them, I honestly don't know. Is my answer, which is why I need the right people around us to kind of guide us. And we've got two of our coaches have played women's football. One of them's played at Liverpool, Morecambe and Fylde. So obviously be seeking her advice, and another one plays at Morecambe. So speaking to them, Obviously, parents of girls who play football, I'm always open to suggestions and ideas. I don't believe I've got it right all the time. I've done things. I don't want to preach and say this is how we're going to do it.
No.
You know, any ideas will help, but I just want them to know that if I am involved in anything that I'm running and creating, I think people who know me will know that I will do my best to do it properly and make sure it works and it's sustainable over a long-term period. So that's where I'm at now. A new idea, take my time with it, link with a local college, try and create as many young volunteers as we can. Yeah. Link up with the local teams to see if they've got any interest in setting up girls' team within their clubs, and we can go from there.
Here's an opportunity then, Craig. What would be your message to anybody out there who's got any daughters or whatever really into football? What should their next step be?
The next step should be to see what local girls' teams there are in the area. There is some brilliant local coaches working with girls' teams at the moment. I think there's some coaches at Harcourt Park, Dalton. I think Vickerstown have got a ladies' team. And apologies if I've missed anyone, but these guys are giving up their time to put those teams together. So have an ask around. I can have an ask around if you want to get in touch with me. And then just keep an eye on our social media and Furness College's social media for when we're able to kind of reignite our first Wildcats centre. And then hopefully we can build it from there.
Now, in the news this week, of course, was the news that Ben Davis, who used to go to Roos Primary School, apparently, signed for Liverpool. So did you know Ben, or have you coached him? Or
I've not coached him. I've had him at a holiday camp, I think, when Inside Out used to be, and he was a lovely Dartworth lad back then. But it's inspirational for local people, isn't it? That someone from the town with a talent has worked really hard at that talent and got opportunities outside of the town and now progressed to the top of the game. So, it's the same as Georgia. Georgia's an absolute inspiration. And knowing Georgia, I used to have Georgia when she was a kid as well. And she would run through a brick wall for you. And she trained and played with lads all the time. And her work ethic and everything is the same as Ben's by the looks of it. So, if you're talented and you're willing to work hard and progress, then opportunities are there.
Right, okay then, Craig. Well, it's Cambridge on Saturday, mate. So we're going to get 3 points, aren't we? I mean, it's looking like a bit of a 4-horse race at the moment, isn't it? With Southend United, Grimsby, they look as if they're struggling big style. Stevenage, who were bottom last season, they got beat the other night by Exeter. So that's a good result for Barrow, isn't it? Just got to get 2 or 3 wins now just to get up there, haven't you?
Yeah, we need that. We need a few wins in a row to try and haul the teams above us back into it as well. But hopefully, as I said, if these lads who are coming in can gel quickly and hopefully start to push us up the league. But I still maintain my belief that we will stay up and we will be up there.
Well, I hope you're right, mate. Well, look, thanks for giving up your time, Craig. Thanks very much for all your efforts and that. And this ladies' football thing, I think there's a massive amount of work to do there. And there's anybody out there who's listening who wants to get involved, as I say, they can get in touch with Craig or the club or whatever. But who knows, it could be something really magical in the future, because ladies' football is really taking off big style, isn't it?
Yeah, it's growing. It's definitely growing. So if we can play a small part in helping it grow, then we'll do our utmost to do it.
All right then, Craig. Well, we'll have another chat in a few weeks' time. And in the meantime, all the best and keep progressing, mate. Thanks very much for your time.
Cheers, Tony. No problem. Anytime.